This program started, sport management started at Troy University from the most humble beginnings. It started from a program that wasn't about sport. It was more about recreation and health. And how can we turn this into something about sport? And we've come a long way in the evolution of the professional preparation related to sport management over the last now probably 20 years. I guess it's been about 20 years that this evolution has taken place. We've also come a long way since 1997-98 when we offered our first fully online asynchronous degree program at the undergraduate and graduate level. Now, over the time of developing our ability to deliver quality, legitimate educational product via online, and over the time that we have developed the sport management program in this university, we've made a lot of mistakes. You're going to benefit from those mistakes because those mistakes were in getting us to here. There's a saying that goes around that the pioneers get the arrows and the settlers get the land. And we've pulled out a heck of a lot of arrows over the last 20 plus years, whether it's about online education or about developing a sport management program. What's been assembled here to ensure that you as doctoral students have the best opportunity to be successful is we have got assembled arguably the best doctoral faculty that you might hope to see here. Whether you know it or not, you've got, in a sense, the father of sport management, if not sport management itself, the key aspects of sport management sitting up here, okay? And it was no small task for us to seduce him to join us a couple of years ago. But what attracted him, not to put words in your mouth, and don't disagree with me later. What attracted him, I understood at least, was the promise of what we were going to build. Dr. Marlene Dixon, who would be with you, except she has a real life for us out in Texas, is another mainstay, long pole in the tent of sport management in the United States. The faculty who've been assembled here are not accidental. They aren't, well, let's see what we can pull together in terms of a sandlot team. They have been assembled over the last 5 or 6 years deliberately for this day. So there's been a lot of work specific to the program you're starting, and there's been a lot of experience in terms of the pieces that are foundational to your program. We've been successful at the master's level in sport management for a long time. Successful in terms of being able to deliver a quality academic program that people find themselves to be employable upon completion. And we've done it online. I mean, I think we get how to make the curriculum work. When you look at curriculum, you're talking about the content. You've got the content that it will take to turn you into a research-oriented doctoral candidate. Okay, we can get you to candidacy. I've got no doubt about that. We got the content. We got the structure of the content. I will tell you that the structure of the curriculum, I said structure of the content, I meant the structure of the curriculum. The curriculum that we put forward 2 years ago is not exactly the curriculum you're seeing today. Because after we had it approved and put it out on the table, and if you will, sand tabled it, how can we make this thing really work if we're really going to insert tab A into slot B and fold on C and make this operational? As late as this past spring, it was Dr. Cella, Dr. Dixon, Dr. Dixon, the other Dr. Dixon, not to be confused with the real Dr. Dixon. No, I'm kidding. With Dr. Marlene Dixon. I went into that without even thinking about the Dixons. They are not related. There was sort of a timeout. This is not really going to work that way. So the structure and a little bit of tweaking of the curriculum took place as recently as this spring. Okay. The methodology is a third component of curriculum. The methodology, the fundamental methodology is proven. If we can do what we do to get somebody ready for a master's degree, it's the same really process to get you ready for candidacy. Understanding that getting you ready for candidacy gets you up to a point of where you should be able to demonstrate something. At that point, you get the last couple of rungs on the ladder almost by yourself. Okay, that's not coursework. That is the heart and the preparation that you put into it at that point. You've got to get the last step or two. But we can get you there, I've got no doubt about it. Generally speaking, if you're clever enough, if a person is clever enough to achieve a master's degree program, to be awarded a master's from a legitimate school in a program such as yours, social sciences or sciences, they are clever enough, they're smart enough, they're quick enough on the uptake to earn a PhD. It's not about, at that point, it isn't about whether you're smart enough to understand the content and understand how to put the pieces together and to make the program work. When you finish this program, I suspect that after your initial elation, if you sit back and reflect, you're going to realize how little you really know about the field, because you will have gotten so far into it that you realize it's not nearly as easily explainable as you thought it might become after you have become educated. I remember, there are a lot of things I don't remember about my doctoral program. One thing I do remember was after completing it, I was in the library at Auburn, walking through the BF section. That's psychology for those of you who haven't lived in the BF section, for the librarians. And as I went down, I was putting something back, and as I was putting that back, I realized there's a lot in these shelves that I really don't know as much about as I was trying to convey to a committee just the other day that I knew. So it can be humbling also, but that's okay, because we're not teaching you to know everything. This is not a degree that's supposed to result in your having a knowledge that you're going to use in some way. What it's going to have beyond the knowledge is you're going to have an understanding. It's a research-based degree, okay? It's not a DBA, a doctorate in business administration, or a DNP, a doctorate in nursing practice. It's a PhD, and that has fundamentally the meaning that you understand how to research, sort through the garbage, come out with the meaningful, and understand of what value that is to those who would want to use that. It's that research skill that you've not had to hone, develop at your master's level. You might have done a thesis, you might not have. You might have had a comprehensive exam, you might have had a capstone course. You could get to that master's qualification in different universities, different ways. Even a master's thesis isn't sufficient preparation for a dissertation. It's preparation, but it's not sufficient preparation. You're going to get sick and tired of all the stuff that you read, sort through, try to find meaning, and make that case to somebody, to a faculty member in a course. This is about research. It's not about knowledge. That doesn't mean that you are some kind of an introvert. There aren't a lot of introverts on the faculty. I'll point them out to you later on the side, but but they'll get you quietly. All right? There are outgoing members of this faculty, as there are of all in all departments associated with graduate programs. There are outgoing people too, but don't let that outgoingness confuse you or take you off the notion that they also are pretty good about research. That's how they got to where they are. All right? So it's really about, why would you want this degree? What are you going to do with this degree? Well, we don't know exactly what you're going to do with this degree. So that means that in the degree program, we've got to prepare you for a number of eventualities that a potential employer would say, since you have a PhD, you should be able to. Okay? It may be academic. We hope it will be. It may be not academic. We hope it will be. We hope and we intend that we're going to prepare you for either working in the private sector, if you will, or working in an institution. It's our intention that you'll be prepared for either. And to do that, we're going to drill you and wear you out in preparation for being able to do research that can be brought in to make coursework meaningful, or research that can cause you to go into the working profession and understand fad from reality. Okay, flavor of the day, people grab it all the time, whatever's in the current stream of thought, put down on blogs, newsletters, magazines, or even journal articles. What you're going to learn that you probably have not had your nose stuck into enough at this point, you're going to learn to differentiate what is probably meaningful in that which is published from which has been published so that somebody can get a publication. There's an awful lot of that out there. And I don't mean that in any disparaging way about any profession. It's true in every profession. Can I get an amen from the faculty? It's true. You got to publish, and in some institutions you do have to publish or you do have to perish. Okay? So if you can get it published, you're moving your career forward. You would like to think, as a consumer of journal articles, that what has been published has really been vetted and really has meaning or has value, different than meaning. Much of it does not have much value. You're going to spend a couple of years here learning how to sort through and be able to put the litmus paper in there and say, this doesn't really answer the question that the author says is being answered, because there's a lot of projection beyond what the facts might really support. That's the research part. So you're smart enough. We're going to take you down a path you probably haven't been, even if you had a thesis. And the rest is, as far as getting to Dr. Miller's point of your getting to beyond candidacy to actually completing the degree, is going to come out of your heart. It's going to come out of your desire to be successful. And it's not, I promise you, it's not going to be easy. It will not be easy. Not to project anything here and not to reflect on anybody. But I think that among the people who I knew who went through doctoral programs and have known who have gone through doctoral programs who were married, marriage has suffered. Divorce has come out of it. And you have to ask yourself why. It's not, I'm not good enough for you. It's not like Big Bang Theory, okay? Good. At least some of you look for an outlet. It's not, I'm not good enough for you. It's the stress that is put into that union during the time that the person is really clawing their way through a program. The pressures are going to be there. You've decided that you want to start the journey. What we want, hope, and intend is that we have selected people who have more than just the capacity, the mental capacity to do it, but have somehow convinced us in their application that they want to do it. Because it's going to be the want to now that's going to get you through, not the I meet the qualifications on paper. Some of you might know the story. I'm going to end with it, unless you have any questions of me. In 1968, the Olympics were run, the Summer Olympics were run for the first time in October, because they were to be run in Mexico City, which, as you know, is about a mile high, very polluted, and during the summer very hot. So they moved it out to October. Probably the most, arguably Michael Green might not say so because he does it with aplomb, probably one of the most difficult events, challenging events, is the marathon, particularly if it's run in the summer. But let's say particularly if it's run at higher altitudes in arguably one of the most polluted cities in the world. Okay, air pollution, that is. So in 1968, the Olympic marathoner began. You know the story? All right. The Olympic marathoners began. And they started later in the afternoon. So it actually was moving toward dark as the event was finishing, virtually finished. And it had been more than an hour since the race had been won. People were actually leaving the stands. A lot of people were leaving the stands. The race was over. When one lone runner came through the tunnel in for that last lap in the stadium, he had a bandage around his leg, and he was troubled in his running. He was limping, but he was doing it. And as he ran around the stadium, applause began, sort of a cadence type applause, cheering him on to get him to the finish line. And he finished last among the finishers. There was no great tribute to his time. John Stephen Akhwari from Tanzania had begun the race a contender. But early in the race, he had been bumped, knocked down, and had cut himself and injured his knee. Some reports say it was dislocated, but I don't think you could go another 15 miles with a dislocated knee. But he was truly injured in his running. He finished, collapsed, great applause from the people who were left in the stadium. Press ran up to him, got him to stand up, say, Mr. Akhwari, how is it that you were able to persist? And his simple statement, at least that which is attributed to him, was, my country didn't send me more than 5,000 miles to start a race. They sent me here to finish a race. Okay? And it's that kind of determined persistence. Hopefully you won't be bandaged. Hopefully you won't dislocate anything. But it's that determined kind of persistence that you're going to have to muster up. Right now, you may be in a phase of elation. I've been accepted. I'm started. But everybody looks good at the starting line. Everybody looks good at the starting line, and that's where you are. You've got to carry it further now. This faculty, in reviewing your application for the program, believes that you can do it. You've heard Dr. Miller indicate why, in terms of validating our program to our third-party regulator, AIC, that we have a viable program to offer. He's explained to you why we are interested in particularly this first class being successful. All right? It's enlightened self-interest. Enlightened because we're here for you. This is all about you. This program is not about anybody in the universe but you. All right? It's about you. But we want, that's the enlightened part. We want to as a result of this program, give you an opportunity to carry on with, create options for you to carry on in your lives. The self-interest part is we've got to produce. or we won't be able to continue doing something we want to do for a higher purpose, that is, the educational piece. So we're invested in helping you to be successful. But I'll offer one last point here. We are also very invested in the first employers of our graduates to say back to us, wow, you produced a good product. Because if we don't produce a good product, just to be in the world that we live in, we will be an also-ran doctoral program. This is the only public university with a specialized accreditation in sport management, NASM. Is that right? No? COSMA. Well, make up whichever acronym you want. I kind of like NASM, but I'll go with COSMA if that's yours. This is the only public university with COSMA accreditation that presumes to offer this program online. So that's kind of unique, but it also makes us an easy target for those traditional programs that want to say, yeah, but look what they turn out. We're determined that that's not going to happen, okay? So we want you to complete, but we're going to be sure that those of you who do are going to represent those of you who tried the best, okay? That's, you can take that as you will. It's a serious program. We want you to succeed. We're going to do everything we can to get you to candidacy. But this is a teaching, learning interaction all the way. Teaching, learning, persistence interaction all the way. So my greetings are sincere in terms of we're happy it's here, we're happy you're here, and if something is not working right with the faculty, go to the program coordinator. If something is not working well with the program coordinator, go to the dean. If something is not working well in the college, come to me, because I am the chief worrying officer for academics here, and I will attend to your concerns. Okay? So, welcome and thank you.